Welcome back to Gym Girl Advice, where we talk all about fitness, wellness, product reviews, and glowing up. And today, I want to talk about some of the biggest lessons I have learned. This is the squeakiest chair, also. I need to get it fixed. Some of the biggest lessons I have learned in the last couple years regarding fitness, wellness, self-care, all of the above. And this is going to be a complete stream of thought. I'm just going to be honest. I'm so excited to talk just genuinely about all of the things I've learned and how I'm putting it into practice right now, because to be honest, I feel like I'm very much at a point where I know all of the things that work for me, and now it's time to combine them all together. It's time to just bring them together into one cohesive plan, and I'm very, very excited for that. This will include running, this will include lifting, this will include Pilates and yoga, this will include eating properly, hormone health, all my favorite topics that I like to think about and talk about. But to do that, we kind of have to reflect a little bit. And I'm just going to start at the beginning with running, and that I've really learned that running is not an everyday thing for me. With the increase in run clubs, and it's a great form of exercise, ultimately, I have decided that running cannot be my primary form of exercise. And instead, it has to be walking. Walking is something I love to do morning and night. I love to go on a morning walk, especially if I'm on vacation by the beach or the coffee. It just truly is the most rejuvenating thing. I just leave that walk feeling so alive and so excited for the rest of the day, and it's just really the best mood booster. And on the other end of the spectrum, I feel like an evening walk is the best wind down time. That is the time of day where I've usually eaten dinner, because I like to eat early, and I eat dinner and then I go on this walk, and then I come back home and I just feel amazing. I don't feel full. I feel ready for bed or to stretch out, to relax, to journal, to take a bath, whatever. I just really think that evening walk is the best wind down for my whole system, my mental, emotional, and even my spiritual well-being. It really does come full circle, and that is what we all want. We all want our health and wellness routines and fitness routines to really support every single area of our lives. This is also something I've definitely just acknowledged. I've embraced the fact that what works for me may not work for others. And especially as someone that grew up in a very active household where it was okay, to be quite honest, it was you get shamed if you sleep in. No, my parents were very supportive, but it was definitely a fitness heavy household. We were outside every day, and if you weren't outside, you had to get your booty outside. That was just the way things were. And my watching the people I love in my life really value fitness and wellness is so inspiring and so exciting. And at the same time, I have to recognize that I might not want to go on a 15-mile trail run or do some of the other activities that my family or friends like to do, because frankly, we're all different, and that's okay. And once you acknowledge that, and once you realize that, and once you start writing down what activities and what actually lights you up and makes you feel good, it's the best feeling ever, because then you can confidently say what works for you. And what works for me may not work for you, and that's okay. And that is why this channel is here. It's to explore all of the different areas of wellness and fitness that feel good to us. The walking instead of the running as the primary means of exercise. I quit running for a very long time, and it was the best decision for that time in my life. My hormones definitely balanced out a bit. It could also be like my cortisol levels, like I don't know, but my skin went from crazy inflamed and like nuts to like radiant, feeling like I got that plumpness back in my skin just naturally. Before I definitely had, it's trending right now, and I really hate to use this term because if you love running and if you're passionate, you should never just completely decide to do something for aesthetics. Like if it makes you feel good, do it. I know like runner face is trending right now on social media, and I will say that I definitely had that. Like I had that classic thing where like fine lines, gauntness, redness, like just inflammation, looking older than you are. That is definitely a thing that I experienced, which is okay. It was for that time of my life. But if anything, this proves that you can actually reverse that and you can look however you want at any time, truly. I'm in my 30s now, and I feel like I look much younger than I did in my 20s. And I think a lot of that, besides just figuring out what works for me, is also like deciding what activities I choose to indulge in and choose not to do. And running is just one of those things for me. So, back to what we were talking about. I am going to still run, but just like 2 to 3 times a week max. I want it to feel really good whenever I run. I want to feel strong, and I also don't want it to be for a very long time. And I'm also going to give myself that grace during those runs to not push myself. I will push myself in other ways. I will push myself when it comes to a certain lift, or maybe when it comes to a harder yoga or Pilates class. I definitely think you need to push yourself to improve and get better. And I'm 1,000% advocating to constantly challenge yourself in all areas of your life, right? Like that's how we get better. Running is just one of those things that I know for me can do more harm than good, can cause more injuries than good. And I did it for a very long time at a very competitive level. And I also kind of just feel like I'm like, check, satisfied. I did it. I'm good. I'm okay. Okay, so away from the running. So now we have walks morning and night, runs a few times a week. And the next is lifting. Lifting is one of the best ways I've challenged myself in recent years. And I mean like actually learning the lifts, actually learning the proper nutrition that accompanies those lifts, actually learning the sleep factor and the mobility factor. And like lifting looks so intimidating on the outside. Like that's why I didn't do it forever. I actually would gain too much muscle in the weight room when I was a track and field and cross country athlete, to the point where the coaches did not let me lift at all, because as a distance runner, you definitely want to be leaner, and I'm just built more like a gymnast, just naturally. Naturally, I'm built like a gymnast, and naturally, I just take on muscle very quickly. It also means I'm naturally very strong, which is awesome. However, I can definitely start to look like super muscular, which is fine. But long story short, I just really didn't have that foundation of like what lifting means. And lifting for distance runners is also just different. It's not the same. You're usually doing a lot more reps and lighter weights. It's more, you're not firing like those quick reflexes. You aren't doing heavy lifts. You're not trying to gain a bunch of muscle. Like you're just trying to get strong and have that endurance. And so this was something that was really exciting for me to dive into. It was also one of the biggest ways I've challenged myself. I will never forget 2 years ago, late 20s, walking into the weight room, like in lifting in like my normal runner outfit and feeling like I was so out of place. I truly was like, all of these lifter girls are just so cool. And I truly just felt like, okay, even though I look out of place and I'm still learning, and I actually had some people like stop me and say like, yeah, that's not how you do split squats or like those types of lunges or like anything like that, or that's not how you use the Smith machine. Like I had people stop me in the gym and I just had to swallow my pride. This was so good for me. and just say thank you and ask more questions, learn more, and that being a beginner at something, it really does go a long way. And that's something in the rest of my life I just want to embrace, is being a beginner in my fitness and wellness routines. And just being like, you know what? We're just going to go for it. We're going to try it. We're going to see what happens. And this is going to be super exciting. Definitely want to stay lifting. And I actually do want to do like a training cycle for like glutes, particularly, and abs. Because as someone that definitely gravitates towards some more endurance like things like long walks, runs, Pilates, yoga, like I just feel like that's like a different category of exercise. Maybe I'm crazy, but the lifting actually makes me see the results and helps me get the body I want. I feel like I'm more toned. I feel like I'm stronger. I also feel like I'm more alert. It has like all these huge cognitive benefits too, which we can dive into in a different video. But this is definitely something I've learned about myself. So I definitely would not lift on the days that I'm running, and I definitely want to lift more than I run. Again, the runs can even be run walks. It's just like kind of jog, get that motion in a few times a week. But I definitely want to prioritize the Pilates, the yoga, and the lifting more than the runs. I have also learned that diet does make up about 80% of how I look and how I feel. I used to run to burn off calories of huge meals that I was eating, and I wasn't really caring what that was. So I could eat like a whole pizza in high school. Why? Because I was running all the time. I have always been someone with a larger appetite. I feel like compared to most women and most of my friends, I just eat a lot. And I've always been this way. My mom is always like, I cannot believe your metabolism is still doing this because you eat a lot. And it's true. But what I have found is that that body composition that I like, how I feel my best and how I look my best, and when I'm like most proud of like the way I present myself, that comes from a really good diet. I have been in times in my life where I've been running 80 miles a week and eating pretty healthy, but also not really caring like the macros or anything like that, and just not getting that like crazy like defined look. So definitely keeping diet like top of mind. Last but not least, the past few years have really taught me in my diet and fitness routine. I cannot wait for the rest of my life. And that almost makes me emotional to say, but it's very true in the sense that I now feel like I know myself. And I also feel like I can take on any challenge. That comes from experimenting. It comes from trying new things. It comes from sticking with things and being disciplined. Learning from different types of people in the industry, in the space, following different influencers, and not just subscribing to one mentality. I know all that is possible out there for me, and I like cannot wait. I'm so excited to like combine everything that I know works and just kind of make it into a training plan that works for me. Some of my biggest goals in 2026 include running a half marathon fairly fast, so we'll see how that goes with the running thing. And it might not work, but we'll see. Actually, I'm very confident it will work. I would love to be very consistent with my strength and lifting workouts, and I would love to be consistent with my Pilates. Actually, that is the biggest lesson I've learned, is that when things are fun and when things feel good, when my life feels rich and feels good and feels calm and peaceful and exciting all at the same time, like it feels grounded but exciting, that is like the vibe. Grounded and exciting is the vibe, and I'm so excited. So join me. It's gonna be fun. I would love to hear what works for you. Drop in the comments if there's a certain workout routine you're loving right now, or something that you're like, yeah, that never worked for me, or I don't understand why people do that. Truly, this is a community, so just drop it in there and we can all give each other a little bit of help. But thanks so much, and I will see you on the next one. Bye, guys.